Hey, the little blue bar's gone on for us. We're still not live yet, but we will resume the live chat soon, don't worry. But today we have with us Aether, Jason. Hello, Jason.
Hey, Karen.
Hey, it's been a little while, hasn't it?
Yeah, I've been waiting to see, when you were able to come back on after they took you down.
I know. To be honest, I was getting a little bit upset with all this infighting and egos in Flat Earth, and the fact that me and Patricia sat for hours and hours listening to other people, even subjects that weren't so important to us, but we sat there for hours and hours listening. And then you see all these people arguing and fighting and being horrible and all the egos, and it was sort of, I don't know, at the same time when we got the channel was taken down, I just thought I wanted to step back for a bit. In fact, I said I don't want to go back on there anymore.
Right.
I don't know if I want to do this, put myself out here and not a lot of the people, but just some people let us down. But, a few months later, after a break, we're back.
Right.
Even if we're
Yeah.
smaller at the moment.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And I do quite like the idea of doing this one-to-one because, you can, but that doesn't mean we won't have bigger hangouts as well when we will put other people on. But we might not go for 3 hours ago, about an hour is about right, I think. I think people, their concentration for things,
Yeah,
But it's good to see you because you were one of our first My Stories, and Patricia's not here tonight. She's gone away for the weekend. Woohoo! She's gone to her sister's. It's her birthday, I think. But you were our first My Story, weren't you? Like on video, and Patricia really likes that, listening to people's lives and stories.
Right. And actually, in this video, I thought I'd actually touch back on what I was talking about because I've had some more like synchronicities come to me since I've made that video. Um, so I'll probably just go back through what I explained in that video and also talk about stuff that has came to me afterwards from sending you that video.
Go for it then, Jason.
Yeah, so I mean it's not too long, but let's see if I can turn my camera around.
So this is a like we're going to be having a little teaching now.
Yeah,
Give
and
us some information.
and I get this from Josh and Martin. I watch them a lot.
Yeah, did you see Josh came on the other week?
Yeah, actually, I did watch that video. I'm part of Martin's Patreon, so um, I heard that they actually mentioned that and made me go look that up and take a listen to that as well.
To be honest, though, for those that may not have I've started to try and because I don't, I'm a bit older than Josh for a start, so I'm a bit more set in my ways. But now, instead of having my toast and slaps of jam and butter, I now have fruit. And I feel so much better for starting my day on fruit. I mean,
Yeah,
fruit actually makes your breath nicer. Even
mm-hmm.
so, you haven't even brushed your teeth, but you can feel it. It's the acidity, isn't it, in your mouth? I don't know what it does, but fruit just, I don't know. And I feel so much better. And I just feel so much happier eating fruit. I've got to then start substituting what I do around lunch, but it takes time.
Yeah.
But I've now done my breakfast, fruit every breakfast, and I love it.
Yeah, I'm actually they definitely are a reason why I went fully plant-based actually too. And they've also motivated me. I don't know if you can see, I have a few pots back here, and I got some bell peppers growing right now.
How old are they? Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry,
Mm-hmm.
let's put the camera on you.
Yeah.
Oh, back on you. Yeah.
But yeah,
And that's the other thing as well, Jason. Like, I don't know about your age because you're much younger than me. But like my grandparents still grew things. But your generation, it's as if we've never done that. We've never had allotments or we grew our own vegetables. It's like it's a new thing because we go down to the plastic supermarket, I suppose, now.
Right. It's so easy to just go buy things.
What I mean is, you showed us your peppers, but like 20 years ago, many more people were growing their own stuff.
Yeah, my grandparents as well, and I think that's one reason why I'm so like I have a desire to want to grow my own food because I've seen my grandparents do it, you know. And then
Yeah, I think it's good because if anything goes wrong with where we live, the supermarkets will empty in a couple of days, and that'll be it, and we'll all be stuck. So I
yeah,
think
pretty much.
we've got to start thinking. Yeah, we get the little gas thing ready, and whatever it is, or I'm going to make a pit fire, and I'm going to start growing vegetables. I think we're going to have to, because I just don't see myself how we can continue like this. I mean, just very quickly, because it is you talking, it's Aether way, but all the houses are up for sale here at the moment, but they're not really selling. I know it's the summer holidays and that slows things down a bit, but they've made sure, like the economy now, like when I bought this house, it was what you call reasonable. My house has almost doubled in price in 10 years, which is just absolutely ridiculous. So
That's
for
crazy.
someone like your age, say if you lived here, you'd have to find about 300,000 just to buy a piddly little house, a little house. I mean, how can that's just, when we were small, if someone said here's 300,000, we'd have felt like we were a millionaire. But now 300,000 is like 3,000. It just doesn't mean and but it's still for most of us, because obviously the minimum wage, a lot of people still get paid the minimum wage. How
Right.
can we afford to buy anything like that at that price?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it's the same way
It's
out
all
here
getting.
too.
I think something's going to bust. On this other little video I've put on before with Patricia, and I was talking a bit with Mr. Fry. He's saying the same. He feels within the next year things are starting to going to go bust, and we've got to start organising ourselves.
Yeah, I heard of a few people that I follow talk about that as well. Where they feel like with really soon we're gonna see like a crash or something like that.
I mean, we all want things to change, don't we?
Yeah,
But
definitely.
not where we're all starving. Again,
And
there is a
actually,
lot of fear mongering. I mean, we've always had remember Nibiru was going to come in and kill us. I mean, it was coming in 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016. Oh,
right, yeah. I mean, but with that,
and
they said,
remember what I was just saying before we went live? The whole point about what that's about is they want to keep us in fear anyway.
right. But actually with that, the 2012 thing, I forgot where I saw it from, but they said that that's just the starting point, and that there's I believe it was like 7 years that need to go by, which is why you see like Martin talking about the 2020 restart and 2020 vision, because 2020 would end that 7 years and start a new cycle actually.
Rich, Mr. Thrive and Survive also said that they have these what do you call them? They have reserves of seeds and all sorts of things. But
Right.
because the last couple of years the crops have been so bad, they're not running out now, but in a few years they'll be running out of seed stock. And if anything goes wrong with the climate or something, that's it. We're really messed up then.
Yeah.
He's just saying it might not be this year or next year, but in a few years we're going to start really struggling. They're going to, so
Might don't.
tomatoes is a good thing to grow, isn't it, as well, though? That's quite an easy thing to do. And I mean, I know some people don't like tomatoes, but tomatoes are lovely.
Yeah, actually I did have one, but for some reason I couldn't get that one going, and it ended up not really growing anything. But I don't know why.
Is it
But
hot
yeah,
all year round with you, by the way, where you
it,
live?
yeah, it's
So
very
you've
hot.
got a perfect climate to constantly grow. Here in the UK, I mean, it's been so hot this last few days. It's been like I've just been sitting here. I feel like I'm melting. Now, we don't get many days like that. And then we pay for it now because today it's cloudy, but it's still warm. But it's totally relaxing. The temperature right now for a few days, I thought I'm frying.
Yeah,
We don't get long, we can do, but we can't guarantee we'll get long periods of just sunshine. We just get lots of cloud. So it's easier for you to grow, but we can grow different things. You have to grow where you live, don't you?
yeah, pretty
Like
much.
climate to.
Yeah, and I'm in New Orleans, so not only is it just hot, it's like very humid as well. So it's almost like every day you're living in a sauna or something like that.
We get it very like that. We get very humid heat here, and I think
Hmm.
that it can be really hot, but when the air is dry, life is different to when it's humid.
Yeah,
Maybe
yep,
that's it. There's too much water in the air. It's not good for us breathing.
yeah. There's a lot of times where you kind of feel like that, hard to breathe to get a full breath of air in too.
And I don't think when it's dry heat, you don't notice the heat as much when it's dry.
Right. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, well, it's quite always quite humid here, so yeah. You have to go like, for me, I have to go to the Mediterranean or something, have a much drier heat. Although it's not every country's got dry heat. Some of these hot countries are very like you're saying, it's very humid.
Right.
So it's good for the vegetables and fruit then.
Yep. Definitely is. I actually have my family has land out here, and once it gets passed down to me, I just plan on living on it and using it to, grow a whole bunch of
Hey, Josh
food.
will be moving over. Josh will be coming.
Yeah, honestly, like I don't mind doing something similar to what they're trying to do if I can help people out. I mean, I have a decent amount of land
I've
to be
even
able to.
thought about it myself, but here land is quite expensive, and I've even thought because your world's changed so much. I don't know if I want to be. I know I'll be living in it, but I just want my own piece of land, and everybody can live over there now. I
Right.
get a bit frustrated because, like, some of my family and people, I just can't. I don't know if I can handle it anymore.
Hmm.
I don't know if I want to be here.
Yeah, I have that feeling all
Do
the
you
time.
understand what I mean? I don't mean where we live. I just mean I almost think that. Anyway, I've been looking at how people kitting out vans and lorries and buses and living that way.
Yeah, I definitely understand that feeling.
Because all I find really weird is that if we take it that there is creator and we're here for a reason, you get. I'm not saying that even I know everything, because I don't, and even if I know information, I don't always understand it as well as, like, we've had all these amazing people, researchers, but my mind's full of all this information now, psychology and all sorts of things,
Hmm.
and you still turn around, and the more you know, the more you learn, the more it takes you away from everybody else
Yeah,
around you. Like friends I've had for 20, 30 years, I don't really have anything in common with them anymore.
yeah. Same here. There's friends I've.
They can talk about whatever they like, and no matter what you talk about, even if you're not talking about flat Earth, but you might be talking about the stars or something, they just don't want to talk. They don't want to talk about any of these things, and
Yeah,
they can talk about what they like.
yeah. It's like they're just not interested. I mean, I pretty much friends I've grown up with. I don't really even hang out with them too
I
much
know, yeah,
anymore.
but you're an old head on a young pair of shoulders. You are, aren't you? Or a mature head, because you're quite young, but you seem a very mature person. We've had a few talks with you before. I'm sure I said
Mm.
that before.
Yes, yeah, I get that a
How old are
lot.
you, Jason?
I'm 32.
Yeah, young man. But it's nice to know that there's some gentle young men, because yeah, I told you what they're trying to do on that other case, but just make sure that we all hate each other, don't trust each other, and not responsible for ourselves.
Right. Yeah. Which is why you see so many similar cases like that.
Yeah.
It's like they just keep pushing it on us and pushing it on us and pushing it.
I think what it is that when you realise that the lie is that bad, it just changes everything for you, and nothing can go back. I mean, even on the other channel that there is, someone wrote one in the comments, I just wish I could have my old world back. It was so much more simple, because then we weren't
Right.
thinking, were we?
Right.
I do think, though, this whole thing, the people that are in it, and I don't mean to put anybody else down, but this whole thing with flat Earth and the whole thing, it's quite an intellectual thing, isn't it? We're quite intellectual now, and look what we're talking about.
Yeah, and I think once you get past that, like just so much more comes with it, you know, so much more, there's so much more to learn. It's almost like that's just the first step, is realizing, you know, where we are and how it is. And then after that, like so much more comes.
Yeah, me as well. Like I thought when I hit flat Earth, I thought, oh, that's it, flat Earth. And I thought, and the next day I got up, and then I didn't stop watching videos about it for about 2 years. You know, everything had flat Earth in it, and yeah, it's only the beginning, not the end. And anyway, if we're not learning, we'd be dead inside. We've always got to be learning. That's the mistake I think people make. Because if you're not learning, what are you doing? Nothing. You know, we're learning all the time, and you know, as you get older, your views change. Reevaluate.
Right, and if we weren't here to learn, well then, you know, what would really be the point of us even having to be here?
Well, I'm not sure now why I'm here, because it's a bit like, why did you send me here? I bet you're the same. I'm quite empathic, and that's the bit that I think that the more empathic people are the ones that are waking up.
Yep.
Really waking up. And then when you're empathic, it does partake you, because all these, you know, like when these people come along, you know who they are because of what they're saying.
Yep.
Do you understand what I mean? If you're empathic, it's a nightmare out there for you.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you're taking on all of that, you know, feeling all of that.
Yeah, and I thought, why? Why did you send me here? It's like the worst place you could have sent me to.
I guess we got something to learn. It's up to us to figure
What I
out.
don't understand is this knowledge and this wake up. You know, like you've got families who've trusted you as a mother, a lover, a wife, a husband, whatever it is. And then you start talking about this and they immediately go, don't trust you. That's what they're saying. Don't talk about it. Don't bring it here. Whatever it is, or you're crazy. And suddenly they don't trust you.
Yeah, I just think I guess it's just different levels of like consciousness that we hit at different points. So whereas you're at this level now and they may not be, but even though they may not agree with you, later on what you're trying to explain to them may wake them up later on.
Thing is, I think with you, it sounds already that you're a young man who knows who he is. Without knowing who you are, you can't get to any of the next stages. Because if you don't trust anything and you don't trust yourself, you'll never trust what you see. So you have to know who you are as a person.
Right.
And then you can look at the rest.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm learning more and more. I know I don't really have the feeling that I truly know everything from within. So I'm doing things that actually are, you know, helping me learn about myself more and more. And, you know, it's definitely helping me out, you know, especially the way things are, you know, in this world.
Yeah, I do. I see that you are quite an open person. You seem that way to me. Obviously, I don't know you that well, but just the few times we've chatted with you, you just seem an open, sensitive, nice young man.
Thank you.
Anyway, you wanted to carry on a bit on that talk. Are we doing what you wanted? Is this what you want you to talk about, or have you got a few more things you'd like to say?
Oh yeah, I can definitely get into it. So it's just like a little presentation, just the same thing, and then I'll just talk about what has come to me. The paper's flying around.
Go for it, Jason.
I'll just talk about the things that have come to me after I've sent you that video. But basically, from learning like etymology and about the letters with you know, Josh and Martin. Turn my camera around. So here I've like numbered out, you know, the letters according to the numbers are that they are in order. With A being 1, standing for unity, uh, B being 2, and you know, standing for duality, C being 3. And I always say pay attention to C. But 3 is the Trinity, 4 is form, like the 4 elements, 5 is the ether, which is why the quintessence, the 5th element, and F is 6, which is like, your carbon 6 body, so your physical body. G is 7, which is, God. H is eternity or infinity. And then you have 9. I say pay attention to 9 as well, which is I. Um, and I drew it, I wrote I like that, but on my other page that I have here, kind of just, a lot of times we draw I or write I as just like a line, like a vertical line. So it's actually hard for me to see my phone. It's so bright outside. But let me see.
We can see it okay.
You can?
Mm.
Yeah, I can barely see my phone. So okay, there it is. So as you can see, actually this page is flipped the wrong way. So this is your sine wave, and if you watch Santos Bonacci, he'll actually, explain that, this is the path that the sun takes as well. How it rises and then it comes back down. And this is also your zodiacs when you connect circles this way. This is your zodiac circle. Um, so that's why I say pay attention to C and I, because you have, and as I explained in that first video I sent you, don't even look at it as letters or numbers. Look at it as symbols, because if you look at this is a C on an I. So that's why, and I find it funny because I do uh, think that, 3 and 9 are some, all numbers are important, but I really feel like 3 and 9 are some really important. Okay, yes. Yes, so sorry about that. It got too hot out here, and so I had to go inside. Phone cut off, but I'll just start over really quick. Let me turn my camera. So this is kind of what I've learned from watching Josh and Martin with etymology, and the reason I'm doing this is just to show that manifestation and creation is real. Um, so basically, what I've wrote out here are the letters and numbers according to they are how they are in order. So A is 1, which is unity. B is 2, which is duality. I always say pay attention to 3, which is C, Trinity. Um, D is 4, which is form, like the 4 elements that form like where we are. E is 5, which is why you have the ether, the quintessence, the 5th element. Um, F is 6, like carbon 6, like your physical body. Um, G is 7 for God. Uh, 8 is H, so like infinity or eternity. And I should have drew or wrote the I as a straight line, um, but I is 9, and that's like completeness because it completes the number cycle. Then you start back over, um, and actually like 0 should be the very first number, but um, yeah, I should have wrote I as a line. And the reason I say that is because if you watch Santos Bonacci, and like I said before, all of the letters and numbers are important, but for some reason, just like you see Nikola Tesla, he has the 369. For me, some reason 3 and 9 is very significant. And I just want to say, don't look at them as letters or numbers, but look at them as symbols. Um, and the reason I say that, because if you look at this sine wave, which is how Santos draws his sine wave, showing the path of the sun rising and setting, um, you'll see that this curve, if you look at C not as a letter but as a curve, here you have your curve. If you look at I as a line, here is your line. So, or your eye. So And I believe when I first sent this to you, I believe you said Patricia caught where I was saying all seeing eye. And I thought, yeah, yeah, I found that really, I didn't even think of that. I found that really interesting. But even within the curve, which would be C, which is 3, if you see how Santos explains it, where the sun, basically you have like birth, experience, and death as well. So, and then if you basically, connect the curves together, you have a circle. So, um, what I'm trying to say is, if everything you write or if you draw, letters, numbers, pictures, whatever, when you paint, everything is just lines and curves. So, like for instance, this candle, you have curves as a circle, you see curves, just paper, line, everything. You look at buildings, nature, everything is lines and curves. So that's pretty much how, what I sent you in that first video from the My Story, from the old channel. But right, so but since then, um, somebody actually told me to watch. I'm trying to remember the name. I think his name is. I'll just switch back to me now. Um, but I think his name is Brother C. Freeman, and it's like he taught Moorish knowledge or whatever, and trying to remember. It's been some time, but I think it was from like the 90s or something. But they have like old videos of his classes where he was, teaching people this hidden knowledge and stuff. And without me ever seeing him, now all of the stuff that I just showed you on paper, that came to me like one night after watching, I believe, a video of Sun and Moon where Josh and Martin was on there doing etymology. And just later that night, all of this information came to me without anyone telling me anything. And I just started writing it out. And then months later, someone told me to watch these videos of Brother C. Freeman. And the very first video I picked, towards I think like the middle of the video, he starts explaining almost this exact thing where he says everything, all of creation, there's only lines and circles. So circle being your curve, because a circle is just one full curve, just keep going around. And I had to like pause the video because I was like, wait, no one has ever told me what I have written down from that night. It came to me, and now I hear someone else saying the exact same thing. So that was like a synchronicity, a confirmation that, you know, what I'm writing down is real. Um, and yeah, it was crazy. It was really crazy. Um, yeah, and for me with that too, I've been seeing a lot of number synchronicities lately. Like for the past few months, it's been like 111, 222, 333. And now lately I've been starting to see 444 and 555. So I don't know if I guess that's confirmation that I'm moving forward as the numbers are, I'm seeing, right. Um, and then there was something else. Oh yeah. So what I wanted to say is just how I wrote this out and how I said that this is pretty much, just explanation that, when you, just like they say that, just how I wrote that sine wave, because a sine wave is what? It's a frequency. It's what you see when they monitor your heart. It looks like that, like, so sound and light and everything is frequency. So not only when you talk can you manifest, the things, because the English language is very confusing, and the way that they have our words set up, um, it's almost like they use it against us, because you think about how you tell someone good morning, but what are we mourning for? I think I know you've had Josh Stone on the channel before too, and I think he said something like that. Watch how you like, watch what you really say. Like, instead of a weak, call it a strong, or a weekend, a strong end. Like, so it's almost like they use it against us. So those frequencies are real. So yeah, and usually when I'm out, if I'm around people during that time of the day, I usually just ask them how they're doing or something. I don't even say it honestly. Um, but yeah, but that just goes to show like that when we talk, when we write, the frequencies are real. So you're just putting frequencies on paper when you write and you draw, um, you know, letters, numbers when you're writing out sentences and stuff like that. It just goes to show that's real and you can manifest things doing that. And another thing that came to me as well after I did this was think about, all the designers. Think about, um, you know, fashion designers. They draw out uh, the clothes or people that design buildings. They draw this out, and they also. I was actually watching. I don't really watch a lot of TV, but if something is like to me, if I find it interesting, or if I'm trying to look at like a message behind it, but there was this show I saw. It was on Netflix, and they were like making glass. It was like a competition to make certain sculptures out of glass, and they're drawing it out first. So it's literally almost like they're manifesting what what they want to do, and then you have the T-shirt or the pair of pants or the dress after they sketch it out. You have the building after they design the building on paper. Then you see it manifest as it's being built. The same thing with the glass. After they drew it out, they were able to make it. So if you think about it that way, it's really interesting how you can think like speaking, and not only just speaking, but yeah, yeah. I watch a lot of people, but a lot of times when I watch people, like Josh and Martin, I'm in a group with I'm not sure if you ever heard of Offset. She has a channel called Lucid Living TV. She gets pretty deep too, but when I hear people like that talk, and then I actually things start to, come to my mind, and I'm able to start putting other pieces together, which, how Martin has said before, like, we're all pieces of the puzzle, so we all have our part we all have certain gifts. So, if we all had the full puzzle already, what would be the point of being here to learn from others? And you know, like they said, I am you, you are me. So really, we're learning from each other, and we're all putting the puzzle together. Just like what I just showed on the paper, like I that just came to my conscious. You know, I didn't see anyone write this out or put this together. You know, wa watching other people triggered the idea, but no one, I didn't watch a video that said exactly that. Definitely. Things come to me all the time, so I don't mind coming back, sharing things that, intuitively come to me and see, what your thoughts are on it, or, just put on it, or,
Yeah, and this is all about,
just put.
Sun and Moon was supposed to be about being a family and about helping each other the best way we can. And right now, because we all live in such, like, it's not like I can go and say, hey, Jason, do you want to go for a cup of coffee? You live so far away. But we do the best
Right.
we can by coming together and helping with giving out information and ideas and views. That's where we're at the moment.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Anyway, it's been a real pleasure. I'm going to
Same
stop.
here.
I'm going to stop recording, and we will do it again soon, Jason.
Definitely, definitely.
Anyway, just for the recording. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
My pleasure, darling.